The 90s were a seriously tubular time in history. Everything about the 90s was loud and cutting edge. The colors, the synthesizers, and more importantly, the games. Vanilla Ice wasn't the only cool thing to hit the shelves during this decade. Games that have shaped the way that we interact with the media came from the 90s, and that's what we want to talk about this week on the Freeplay Podcast.
You are listening to the Freeplay Podcast with Bubba Stallcup, Matt Warmbier, and Kate Katawaki, part of the Love Thy Nerd podcast network.
What's up, nerds? My name is Bubba Stallcup, and I'm the Chief Community Nerd here at Love Thy Nerd, and you're listening to the Freeplay Podcast, part of the Love Thy Nerd podcast network. And joined with me, as always, is our Chief Outreach Bro, Matt Warmbier.
What up?
But
I'm
started with an
here.
M?
Move over.
Move over, buddy.
No, well, you said always here because I am always.
When I'm
always.
here, you're always also here, except for when you're not.
It's a ghost dad.
Or you're not, like you were last week.
Really? You landed on Ghost Dad that quick? Well, hey.
Yes.
Spoiler alert, it is 90s week here at Love Thy Nerd, and I think Ghost Dad falls squarely within the 90s.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So, also with us is Ghost Mom, Chief Social Media Nerd, Kate Katawaki.
Hello. I don't understand. I have no
Ghost
idea
Mom.
what you're talking about.
Well, you were born in 99. It's hard.
Yeah,
You know,
I
like,
was not born in
episode
1999. We'll get into it later.
So
I was born in the
That's-
90s.
Titanic.
That definitely needs to be a part of like our merch lineup whenever we start making that stuff. It just says Kate was born in 99 on a t-shirt.
I need to know, and this is for you listeners here. If we sent our logos, words, designs to, what is it, Redbubble? Is that one of them?
One of those.
That's one of them, yeah. Teespring, stuff
One of
like
those.
that.
If we did that, would you all want shirts? Because
Would you throw fat stacks of cash at your
just
computer?
any stacks of cash at it? Because we keep talking about all these ideas we have for shirts.
For
and
Freeplay Podcast specific.
For Freeplay
merch.
Podcast. Rip Horpins would be one.
For sure.
For sure
For
one.
sure. If we have one piece of merch, it's Rip Horpins.
I'd buy that.
Oh, yeah. I think you've got 3 customers so far.
That's pretty
3
good.
customers,
We could,
not me.
you can talk to your buddy and see if we can use his design. I mean, I'd be cool with that.
Oh, yeah, 100% he would. He would just need 99% of the cut.
Well, 99% of the is
He's
zero.
got 99 problems, but a cut ain't one. Hit me.
Anyways, let us know if you would buy stuff. So then if you say yes, then maybe we'll make some.
Don't rush me.
And if you
Don't
say
rush
no, then maybe we won't make some.
me. Let us know if you want to buy some stuff that we make
Okay.
today. Right now.
Hey, I missed you guys last week. I thought you did a fantastic job. Pat the back here. I thought you did a fantastic job last week, but I did miss you guys. I can talk anywhere, but I missed you. I missed being
I know
on the
that.
podcast with
That's
you guys.
100% true right there.
We were wondering.
I was actually talking along with the podcast, so it was
well,
great.
then
It was
how did
fine.
you hear
I
us?
wish you would have recorded that.
How do you know I didn't? Did you
haven't-
check the drive? Didn't think so.
There's nothing in it.
Well, speaking of things that Matt talks at, his wife, they do a Saturday stream now. So we have Beard Bros. This isn't a plug for that, but we do that on Friday. And then after that, they actually, Matt and Aaron will play the game that we reviewed and talked about on Beard Bros on what we're calling now Co-Optional, our Saturday stream where Matt and Aaron play that game. And
Give it away.
whatever that freaking looks like, they play that game. You guys did Now Boarding.
We
Kinda.
did now boarding.
Yeah.
You tried.
The game was played. The game was played.
It was. The co-optional part of it was rules.
You learned. Everyone learned. You learned what not to do. I swear to you,
By the moon and the stars in the sky, I'll be there.
I don't know how those cards got into the deck because like you
I've got
take
an
out
idea.
JFK and you take out Seattle, and we did that, and I put them in a very strategic way back into the package, facing each other, so you knew which was which, and they ended up in there. Things
Well,
happened.
It happens to the best of us, I guess. So don't
That's
beat
whatever.
yourself
It's a fine.
Don't beat yourself up too much. I mean, we will continue to ridicule you, but you don't. You don't do it.
No, I just suck it in and suck it up and swallow it down and just do it.
Don't say anymore.
Yeah, we're done.
See, now all I can think of is the episode of The Office where, David was talking about his invention. Suck it.
Suck
Kate
it.
knows what I'm
Suck
talking
it.
about.
You gotta suck it. I forget
Yeah,
how,
you pick it
how
up in them and then you suck it.
the
Suck
little
it.
jingle goes.
Okay, yeah, David Wallace. I got it now. I'm on a 2-name basis with him.
Yeah, well, he sold it to the military, so it's fine.
Yeah.
You guys should watch The Office. You will understand this podcast a lot more if you just watch every episode of The Office.
Just do it now.
Yeah.
We'll
Hang
wait.
up and do it.
Speaking of The Office, we also have a pull list podcast that you guys can listen to. So go and do that. There's a brand new episode out this week. And on this week's episode, Chris and Hector talk about Batman turning 80 and Detective Comics.
Man, you guys call me Grandpa.
Well, he looks a lot younger than you do, even at 80. So
There's that one comic.
you should live your life a little bit more like the Batman. But they also talk about Detective Comics, number 1KG, 1000 there. And so DC Comics continues to be a heavy focus this week as the Joker one-off film drops its first teaser, echoing the feelings and setting of Batman 48 and 49. If you've read those comics, it'll feel familiar to you. Also, everybody's favorite on-screen Tomb Raider, Angelina Jolie. I like how I said Angelina.
Yeah.
Angelina.
Like you knew her.
Angelina.
Angelina. Yeah. Well, she's Angie to me, but yeah, Angelina Jolie
Angie
is
Jo,
also.
yeah.
She's also Angie. Yeah. This is gonna get real bad real quick. But she is also in talks to return to the actor hero scene with Marvel's The Eternals. And I mentioned this before, but I think it bears repeating. If you're wondering why is Marvel continuing to kind of create things that we didn't care about or didn't know existed, that's kind of what they do. When they did Ant-Man, that
No
to
one
me,
cared.
well, I was like, what? Why would you make a movie about Ant-Man? And then I saw the movie and I was like, this is probably one of my favorite Marvel movies. Because I thought and I said this, and I think I even said it on this podcast. It's very possible that I did. That if Marvel can take something that you didn't care about at all and still make a really great, fun movie out of that, then they can do almost anything. So I say all that to say this. I'm hopeful for the Eternals, which I had not cared about even in the slightest before reading this little blurb right here. So
Well, there
I
you
don't know.
have it.
we'll see. Kate, what was your favorite issue of the Eternals? Just out of curiosity.
I told you before this that I don't know anything that they're talking about.
I don't remember that one, but it was probably pretty good. Maybe that's
I
the
have
one
no
that they'll
idea
base the
anything
movie
about
off of.
comics. I have zero idea. I don't know.
Do you remember the one?
I recognize the name of the Eternals. I don't know anything about them though.
Matt, you remember the one where they went to the mall, and
Yeah. Oh yeah, and they went to Hot
Yeah.
Topic, and they went
Yeah.
to what was it, Forever 21? But in the
21,
comic,
yeah.
it wasn't Forever 21. They just did Forever 20 because
Yeah,
you can't own
licensing
20.
issues.
Yeah, you can't own Forever 21.
And then at the
Yeah.
end, they all went to the Dippin' Dots.
No. They said it was Forever Eternal. That's
Oh,
where
my
it
God.
It's a
linked
little
in.
redundant.
Forever
A
Eternal.
little
I got
redundant,
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This needs to
Yeah.
come to an end.
Anyway,
Hey,
you should go
you're not
check
my
out
mom.
the Eternals. Yeah, it's that one's our favorite. That one's a little hard to get, but I bet if you tried real hard, you could get a copy of it on the eBay. But hey, we want you guys to check out all the things that we're doing, whether it's video content or whether it's our podcast network with the Pull List, us, and also Humans of Gaming. Just go out there, find our stuff. It's really easy. You can go to lovethynerd.com and see all of it. So why not just do that? And while you're there, you can read really fun, dope content, stuff that is just like so good. So good.
It's true.
There's a lot of great articles on there right now, and we legit have new stuff coming out every single day. Whether it's a dive into a game or looking at a game in a different light than you've ever thought about, or even we're starting up brand new, what are they called?
Series.
Series. There we go. I didn't know if that was the
Things?
right word.
Series.
Stuffs. Who's Your What's It's. So we're doing a whole series of articles that is getting into different pieces of nerddom, like different areas that you would not have either known how to or even known existed for that matter. So you're going to want to check that out, but make sure that you're visiting lovethynerd.com on a frequent basis to keep up with all this stuff. And we also share it. Kate, you do all of our socials. We share it on that their Facebook page we got.
Instagram, Twitter.
Space, your space.
We all space for
our space.
Not
our
my
space.
space. Yeah.
Coming back. Hey, I'm going to say this real fast. If this podcast can get 50 reviews by, we'll say the end of May, we'll do a mega giveaway.
Really?
I'm just going to do it. Yeah. We're gonna do a mega giveaway. This is brand new. This is new news.
I totally knew about that.
Yeah, I know. I like to
I'm not just learning about that now. I wasn't today years old when I learned about that.
I just feel like we can't reach as many people as we want to, but we need your help. And we need you to rate, review, share, like not only this podcast, but the other ones as well. Because we really do.
This one,
well, I wasn't going to say it, but.
Well, you said if this podcast reaches.
Well, I'm not. I'm just saying I can only speak for our podcast here. I can only speak for you too.
if we're only trying to get to 50, I say only. I mean, we're about 20 away. So we would need 20 more people to go and rate and review. And we're talking
only.
on. Yeah, that's true. If you want to give 4 stars, we've got a whole list of podcasts that you can give those to. But we really want you to go and do it on Apple Podcasts because that's kind of where we're tracking this. When it's not a conglomerate, like we're not bringing in the totals from Stitcher and Spotify and yada yada yada. Apple is kind of its own little corner of the internet, and that's where a lot of places will look when tracking stats. So if you'll do us a favor and go over there, even if you have to create an iTunes account, I'm okay with that. I'm 100% fine. I've made.
You can speak for me on that one as well.
Yeah,
I'm okay with it too. Yeah.
We, the royal we are okay with it.
We are.
Yeah. Oh, so what do you want? What are we giving away? I mean, for the listeners. For the listeners, I
think we'll do some video games. We'll do some tabletop games. We'll do some figures. Like I have personal stuff that I'm willing to put on the line here.
Personal stuff like shirts of yours or what?
Beard hairs.
Kate mentioned she was going to give away her PlayStation 4.
No, I never said that, and I will never do
We'll
that.
do a KSM shirt. We'll do a KSM shirt.
If you wear a specific size.
Well, we didn't say what
in
size.
My garage.
We will give away a shirt.
A medium.
Or someone.
Yeah, we're not interested in your size. Just know that if you win, you will get a KSM shirt.
We can have more specifics about this maybe in the show notes because
we may even talk to some of our buds in the biz and see if they would be willing to toss in a little bit on this. So
we'll see.
If you like stuff from people and podcasts, this is it.
We's you dudes.
The people, persons, paper people. Here again, just go watch The Office. It'll make it a lot easier on you. All right, hey, let's move the show right along. What have we been playing? Kate, let's start with you for once in our lives.
Yeah.
For once in my life.
I have still been playing Yoshi's Crafted World. Did you listen to last week's when I talked about how excited I am about the game?
He only listened to enough of it.
I know, that's why I'm testing.
100% of it.
And it's freaking hard. It's on this list of like games that are like kid friendly, and I'm like, no, it's not. It's hard.
It's a chitlins game.
It is not. I've gone back and forth the whole length of some of these levels, and I do not see where there is another smiley flower. I just don't see it.
You gotta go through the level.
Or another opportunity for red coins. I just don't see it. And I'm like, it's here. I know it's here. Where is it?
What's the name of that really hard game that's out right now? That's like, it's not...
Yoshi's Crafted World.
No, it starts with an S. Like Sakiri...
Super hard game.
Sakura... Nope.
I don't
Whatever
know.
it is, like, you're making Yoshi's Woolly World...
Crafted World.
That's what this is? Crafted World? They're all the same. You're making this game sound like it's like that hard. And it is literally a game made for children.
You can beat the level, but you just can't find all the stuff.
Yes. But what's the point of beating the level if you can't get all the flowers?
Yeah, I don't know. You're asking the wrong guy. I only just know Mario kicks Yoshi off into a pit. Do you get to do that to Mario in this game?
I haven't even seen a glimpse of Mario yet, but
Yeah, well, that's
we'll
a
have
crying shame right there.
We'll have to see.
Yeah, because Yoshi was in Odyssey a little bit.
Where?
Spoiler?
Oh, he was.
He was. You
Man,
have to
I
be
forgot.
Yoshi. You have
Oh,
to be
yes,
Yoshi.
yes. In the Princess Peach's area, the kingdom.
And Mario 64 will land.
Yes. And
Hey, for those of you guys that were wondering, the game is called Sekiro.
Okay.
Shadows
Yep,
Die
that's-
Twice.
That's the
Yeah.
one.
yeah, well, that's Yoshi die
It's the same
twice.
thing.
That's what this is.
Sekiro Yoshi's Woolly World.
I seriously cannot find some of this stuff. I'm like, I'm not going to cheat. This is a children's game. It's got to be
did
here.
What am I?
I haven't
baby?
looked.
Did you try?
Playing
No,
on easy.
I haven't looked. And I'm not playing on easy. Also, let it be known, everyone, all the haters.
Whoa, sorry.
Well, there's your problem.
I'm playing.
There's your problem.
No.
Kate.
I'm playing on classic mode. I can get through the level.
I don't even know what that means.
I do the flip side where you find the little puppies.
It's decent.
I tried my best to find the puppies.
She's proficient in the game.
Then I move on to the next one.
Classically.
It just drives me insane. You hear the puppies barking and you can't find them.
Like
Well,
real
that's
life.
just like
That's
every
just real
day of
life.
my.
Yeah.
So I need you to just like step back for a second. Like listen to these words that you're putting into sentences about this game. You're looking for the puppies and you're trying to find sunflowers and you're talking about how terribly hard this game is.
Okay. What was the...
What do you have to say for yourself?
Yeah, Kate, like it legit
You
is
know
a
what?
children's
Here's
game.
what I have to
Like,
say for myself. You try finding all the smiley flowers then. You
done. I did already.
get
Send
the
me the
game, go look at it. Although I really do love this game and all the levels, and I play it over and over and over and over. And I even took my Switch to the dunes, the sand
You
dunes.
did.
I sent
The
you
dunes.
a little vlog from my fake YouTube channel about the dunes.
Yeah, I'm smashing that like button. You kidding?
And there's
Following all of it.
and there, which by the way, there's a little story about the dunes. I really did think I was going to throw up. The car, you just go down these sand dunes, but to me, I'm like, this is a bad situation. Like this.
Steven, can you pull over?
We
I'm
have
trying to find this flower. I can't do it.
No,
while you're
I wasn't-
driving
I
up.
wasn't-
You seen your red coins out here?
No, I wasn't playing it in the car. Are you kidding me? I'm like so sensitive to motion sickness. I get so sick. So I get out of the car in the sand dunes because I was so just nauseous. Why are you looking at your watch? I'm in the middle of a
Well,
story.
it's telling me it's time to stand. That's what it wants me to
Oh,
do.
okay.
But
Well,
this
you can
watch is
stand.
not my real dad, so I'm not going to do it. I'm
Okay.
busy right now.
So anyways, I thought I was going to throw up.
Grounded.
I get
I'll
out
just
of
raise
the
my
car.
arm so it thinks I did it.
Yeah, good job. I get out of the car and Steven's like, you can't get out here. There are like other vehicles driving. I'm like, I don't care. I have to get out or I'm going to throw up in the car. Is that what you want? And he's like, no, I don't want that. So I'm walking in the sand this really long way to the bathroom. I did not throw up. But my reward at the end of the day, what?
You were at the dunes, which is basically like a giant litter box.
Yeah.
Why were you walking to the bathroom?
Because I had to get out of the way. Otherwise I'd get hit by a car or something.
Stand next to the car.
Yeah.
Well, then Steven drove to the side so that nobody would see me walking there and hit me. Whatever, it was fine. I ended up not throwing up.
I'm confused by all this, but I'm going to accept it.
It was, then Steven had me drive down the sand dunes because he said
Nice.
maybe it'll make you feel less nauseous if you drive.
You know what? I was thinking the same thing. So I.
But I'm not a good
You look out
driver.
the front
Why?
window.
I'm not a
Well,
good driver in any
Do you
situation.
have your license even?
Huh? I have my
Do
license.
you have a license?
Yeah.
Let's
Nobody's
see it.
asked any questions about it for a while. I don't have my wallet here, so you can't see it. But I do have one.
I'm proud of you.
It was just, I should never be trusted in a situation like that. I don't know why.
I mean, I know that, and I'm surprised Steven doesn't know that.
I was just trying to make
I
it.
think he does.
He's trying to
But
stretch
I mean,
her.
because
It's like a
he's your
stretching situation.
husband,
Yeah, I get it.
right? Like he's trying to push
Look out
you,
for
and
you.
Well, I
Yeah.
was just
Look
trying
out
to
for
make
you.
it through the day without vomiting. So I did
Sometimes-
so by driving down these, like literally straight down. And I
How
thought,
fast?
you have to go up it as fast as you can go.
How fast down?
I wasn't looking at the speedometer. I was just trying to stay level.
Okay.
she had too much vomit in her eyes.
I was too
from-
scared. Yeah, well, then it turned out not being vomit. It all went the opposite. So
Okay.
to celebrate the end of my day where I made it, I played Yoshi in the dunes, and it was really fun. Played a
So
little.
your video, where was your video in the middle of all this?
My vlog?
Yeah.
Sorry.
My
Yeah.
vlog was at the end of the day. We had finally made our camp, and I was playing Yoshi in the desert.
Meow, meow.
Well, it's not really the desert; it's the beach. But wow.
6 of 1. It's sand to sand.
Kate, I'm glad you made it home safe.
It was a
Your
real
hair looks
struggle.
lighter. Is it lighter?
My hair?
Yeah.
Why would it be lighter?
I don't know. Sun?
Did you do something with your hair?
Did you do something
No.
with
Did
it?
you comb it?
I brushed it.
Okay, that's probably it. Shimmery.
Yeah, for a guy, that's safe. Hey, did you do some? You do some of your hair?
Brush it or something? Like with some... Did you wash it once?
Did you
I
shower
washed
today?
it and I brushed it and I took a shower today. All for this
Good.
moment.
Ooh, it's a big day for the both of
between
us.
the meeting and the recording of this podcast, I did shower. So
No, you
I feel
didn't.
pretty good.
Between?
I absolutely did.
Really?
Wow.
And ate dinner.
Wow.
What? Did you eat in the shower?
He just
Our
drank the
listeners
water.
don't
he
need
just,
to know
he
any
just
of this.
Just
drank.
whatever. Anyways,
Yeah.
so
Sometimes we forget we're actually doing a podcast and we just start talking to
Sorry,
each other.
Sorry.
That's fine.
That
Oh,
was
how about
one
this?
of those moments.
Matt, what have you been playing?
There it
I've been
is.
eating dinner in the shower.
Oh.
Wait. Shoot.
Trying to get
no,
them
that's not
platinum
it.
trophies.
Yeah. So do you guys want to hear about my struggle with God of War
No.
or do you want to hear about Red Dead?
Neither.
I think we need to finish the story
Finish
of Red
Red
Dead, and then let's move on to Gao.
Okay. Well, I got an email from PlayStation and
Dear Mister, to whom it may concern.
they said, hey, I read it to you guys earlier. They said,
Hey.
yeehaw partner, something. What'd they say?
Congrats.
They said,
Congrats, partner.
congrats outlaw.
Oh.
We were getting there.
Yeah. Congrats on completing Red Dead Redemption 2.
End
I
of
did it.
email.
No,
That's
there's
it?
more. They basically said, get good, get the platinum
Yeah.
trophy, go play online
Oh,
with people.
my.
And I thought like, yeah, I want to do all those things, but there's so much to that game. I almost started over because I missed so much.
No, you did not.
No, I mean, I was going to finish it and then just start from the beginning again.
No, that's like me with
You-
the Dragon Age.
You do
No,
that in
like-
2 years. You come back to this.
I think I might. Okay, so I finished the game. It ended really well. I was satisfied with the way it ended. I think it set up. I haven't played Red Dead 1. I think it set up what I know of Red Dead 1 well.
Okay.
It tied up a lot of loose ends. I went back and I looked kind of like what I was missing. And I don't think I'm not torn to go back right now and like just finish these things. I'm really trying not to spoil it here. I did all the side quests I could find. I did all the main quests I could find. I did all the people on the side of the road, like random quests I could do.
Mhm.
But there's like some people you could run into and at the end of the game that you can talk to and kind of like
Did it give you
finish
any
that story out.
percentage?
I am 100% in story, but I
Well,
think
that's
I'm
good
like
'cause you made it all the way to the end.
Congratulations.
just say
Outlaw.
don't read into that too much. PlayStation, is that you? I think I'm 55%.
I hate finishing games because of that reason. Just
Right.
don't tell me.
Yeah, I know. Like,
Breath of the
I guess I
Wild,
want to know.
I wanted to cry.
Oh, when I finished that, I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!" I think I was like 32%, and I was like, "I
Yeah.
have every shrine."
Congratulations, you've done absolutely nothing.
It's just because I didn't have all the Korok seeds because like that was it.
Freaking Korok seeds.
Yeah. Anyway, so I finished it, and like I feel satisfied with where I am. I really had to change my gameplay style in Red Dead because
To be
I really
good?
am
To go from bad to good?
To get
sort of.
good.
No, more like exploring every nook and cranny. Like when I play
Oh.
Fallout, like I want to like go into every house and like
Pillage.
open every chest and like look and like collect everything.
Well,
until
because
the
they
point where
hide
I'm-
stuff though. Like you can find legit things in
Right.
Fallout.
Well, you can find legit things in Red Dead as well. Like you can find unique weapons, unique hats, unique
Okay.
knives and stuff.
So why'd you have to change?
Because there's so much.
Oh, it's bigger.
There's
I got it.
so much. Like there are unique like there are these cigarette cards you're supposed to find and mail off to people who are like wanting to collect the whole set. Didn't do all that. There are dinosaur bones you're supposed to find.
Oh.
There are these wind or dream catchers you're supposed to find. There's just like there's so much stuff that if I was in the area and I could find it, I would go look and like, get what I could.
Yeah.
But I just had to keep kind of reminding myself like I don't have to have everything I need. Like I want to finish the story and enjoy that.
So you did finish. Do you feel fulfilled? You feel like you've done something with your life now that you've finished this game?
Yeah. I think finishing this game, like, it was good to finish it. It was good to finish it in full because I like just looking at the games that are on my desk right here, like of all the games I hadn't made it through because I was trying to find all the stuff or like continue to search and I'd waste my time like exploring dungeons, caves, cities, whatever. And it got to the point where I just didn't finish it. Like Fallout 3, I didn't fully finish.
Oh man, that's
Basically,
sad. That's a great game.
I know. I realized that like any of the Fallout games, I just got like so sidetracked by the extra stuff.
Yeah.
That like it wasn't good. Skyrim, like again, so much stuff there.
Doozy.
So much to do. Right. So for me to make it through a very deep game
Yeah.
and finish the story, I feel good about that.
That's a big deal, man. It really is. Kudos to you. Let's put it in perspective. Like you finished, you started and finished Red Dead in the span of time since I've last touched Spider-Man.
You're unbelievable.
How
Yeah,
dare
so-
you?
Well, I finished
Oh,
Spider-Man
I
2.
know.
Platinum trophy, got a message from PlayStation.
Yeah, you did.
But when you platinum, at least Spider-Man, it's my only game I've ever platinum before. When I platinum Spider-Man, they sent me a special avatar that I could use like for my little photo of Spider-Man that you only get when you platinum the game.
Did they email you though? Like, hey, like
To whom it may concern,
Howdy,
Mr.
partner.
Parker. No,
When have
it
all
was-
these
no,
secret emails started going out? How come
I
I've never
mean-
got one?
you got to
Well,
win a
you
game.
Gotta
I
beat
have.
things.
And I haven't
No,
gotten
like
any
real
emails.
games.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey,
I
where's
don't
my
know.
email?
Talk to them. I just know like if
Can you
beat-
email
if
them
you
for
finish
me
a
and
game,
ask?
It's in the mail.
You get this. You get stuff like at least Rockstar and
Sony.
Sony? Did they do
Yeah.
Spider-Man?
Yes,
I
absolutely they did.
was gonna say Activision, but that's the old Spider-Man.
Oof, too soon.
Rip.
Yeah.
So there you go. And now I've started God of War, and I can talk more about that next week. Of how
Well, here, get us into it. So,
Just start.
I am not good at these types of games.
Play on easy
I
mode.
am
That's
not
what I do.
good. I eventually did so I start the game. You're walking with your son. It's really
whoa,
great.
whoa,
You're
hey,
doing
don't
great.
spoil it.
I know you're walking with a little boy that you may or may not know. Okay.
That's
And suddenly this monster attacks, and you're like, okay, I'm probably gonna handle this. It's the first boss of the
You're
game.
Kratos.
Right. You're the God of War. That's your name.
Legit. The game
That's
is about
who you are. So like this thing with this giant tree rock thing, this big,
You did-
I guess it's a
Doing
log.
a great
I
job.
don't know.
Yeah.
17 times. 17 times.
And the opening,
The opening boss of the game.
it's not even
like the
a
credits haven't even rolled yet. You're still like,
I'm in Western mode. I can shoot my bros anywhere I want. I can go into Deadeye. These guys are human. They're human, and if they're not human, they're not part of my game. I get into this thing. 17 times I die before I think, okay, I give up. I'm going to try it on easy mode.
yeah.
Yeah, see, it took me
And
3
I-
times to do that.
And I died at least 3 more times. It may have been up to 5 times before I finally
5?
beat that thing.
Matt.
Let me just
See,
say,
this is
can
why
I-
we need.
let me just say something
Go
real
ahead.
quick.
Listen, I think Kate's going to be better.
Yeah,
It's
probably.
important since I have actually played this game.
Yeah, go ahead.
I
Well, you
beat
don't
it.
say it like that.
Okay.
Oof. And
You
she
So-
can't beat Woolly World.
If I'm struggling with Yoshi's Crafted World,
There it is.
But I
keep
beat-
saying the wrong one.
but I beat
Okay.
God of War, you'll be fine.
Okay.
Just,
I mean, I honestly, like, if after the 17th time, I turned it off.
Dude,
And I was
can't
like,
even
is
with
this
that.
the game I want to
that
play?
is so funny.
Is this the game like I want to waste my time with? Like, I realize everyone loves this game. Do I want to continue like
Yes.
torturing myself? Because I haven't played any of the Souls-esque games, so I don't know.
I don't know
that
if this is a Souls-esque
genre.
game.
I think it's Souls Light, where you have to
If
like.
you're not playing on easy mode,
If you're not playing on easy mode, you probably need to know what you're doing. I'm not saying like I'm not trying to compare the two necessarily, but I think it is a Souls light game. And if I go from like just shooting guns, or if I'm actually fighting someone, like I knock them out, like no, more or less no problem. You don't die too often unless you're not expecting something in Red Dead. So like 17 times. I was like, all right, just try it on easy mode, see how it goes. And I was like, you can always just go play Red Dead 1. I mean, you want to play in the West, right?
Your own conscience at this point.
I did play it for a little while, and I still want to play it. It's just hard. It's just going from like really, really good graphics to like one generation
Not
down.
as
It's
good.
honestly,
Yeah.
it's honestly better than I thought it was going to be. I was like going to go like, my mind was PlayStation 2 graphics, and it wasn't there. So that was good.
No.
Interesting. So did you get to the
Don't spoil
bigger boss fight that's at the beginning?
I got
within
the
an hour.
next boss fight with like the Frost Bro. He's shooting. The
His name is
stranger,
Baldur.
the stranger.
Oh, nerd.
Well, he's my dad.
He's not.
I think in that game
Anyways.
you're your own dad.
He is not.
Yeah.
If
This is the
remember
game that
my
I-
mythology
Yourself.
correctly.
I spoiled it. I spoiled myself because I was just trying to do generic research of the mythology because I didn't understand something, and then
Yeah, I spelled it in Red Dead for myself too. All right, Bubba, what have you been playing?
Nothing.
All right, moving on.
Yep, I've almost literally been playing nothing. I was doing the Bubba plays a game a day
Bubba plays a game a month.
thing.
just Bubba plays
It's
a
not-
game.
It's not a challenge anymore. But I did that for like 3 months solid, and I tell you what, that is enough to bring a grown man to his knees. That is.
When you started that, I was thinking this is a bad idea.
Same.
Here's what it made me want to do: not play games. Like honestly, like it brought me to a point where, I mentioned it before. Like my kids would be like, "Hey, Daddy, don't you have to play a game?" Or Anna would be like, "Hey, shouldn't you be playing a game now?" It's like I don't. That's not what I want.
Because it turns into an assignment, not a choice.
Yeah. And it was a self-inflicted assignment. And if I were doing it for like an actual job, like getting paid for it, not doing a full job and then coming home and doing this, I'd be okay. I could play a game a day if I did it during my 9 to 5. That would be fine. But it's coming home, sometimes not getting home until like 8 or 9 p.m. sometimes. And I'm like,
Yeah.
how about nah? Because nobody wants to see me play, my little cheese pop game because it's the quickest game that I have. Nobody wants to see me play that every night. Like that's a boring Instagram feed. So,
No, you're doing it for the gram.
well, and I did, right? So like, and Kate, you can attest to this. Like my social media presence grew
Yes, they
And,
did. The numbers did
like,
improve.
exponentially. It grew pretty wide. And so I did what it needed to do for that. And now I'm able to, when I post things, they're getting pretty good engagement, even if they're not on the regs, daily. And I'm able to, like I pushed an art friend of mine, an artist to, see if he can get hired, so like more people are starting to see my stuff. And I would like to take and do more things with my Instagram, and not just posting a picture a day, but when I post maybe, like a 60-second video clip or Instagram TV or something like that. But all that to say, I took a very, like when April hit, I took a very hard, like, I'm gonna stop doing a game a day.
Oh, because
And
Easter.
I didn't tell
Jesus.
anybody. Yeah, this is my Lent. This is my 40 days. But I didn't tell anybody. And Anna was like, "Hey, shouldn't you be playing a game? Or have you been playing a game a day?" And I just was like, "No, I've not." And I didn't feel bad about it. I'm still playing games like with my kids every now and again. Not every day. When I say every now and again, it's like this is the rate at which normal people play games. Not every single day. So Caleb and I, my 6-year-old, did I tell you guys about this game we're making, this deer hunter game?
Yeah.
You mentioned
I did mention
yeah.
it. So we refined it a little bit, and we've play tested it and done a whole bunch of other things. And it's a pretty fun little game that we're going to try and get made. But that got us like thinking, like, how can we start doing other things with games? Are there other people out there that want to make games, maybe even in our community or whatever? Like, how do we get the juices flowing with people that even if your game is just hot trash, like you don't know how to make it into a playable game, are there some people that we can pair you up with that can help you, get there? That maybe it doesn't get picked up by a publisher or whatever, but you made a game. Like April Lynn posted something in the community, maybe it was on her personal Facebook, but it was like, hey, your first podcast is going to suck. Your first video is going to be trash. Your firsts are just going to be bad, except for Kate's. Kate's were always on
Just
level.
kidding.
But anyway, so your firsts are going to be bad. So like, how can we break the barrier to like get people to make a game and just let it be bad, and then you can move on from that one and get better. So I don't know. Like that's kind of what I've been doing as far as games go. But aren't you glad that games aren't the only part of nerddom?
No.
Sure.
Yes.
Your boy watched WrestleMania on Sunday night.
Does that
And Matt,
count?
yeah, it counts.
Oh,
How dare you?
I just
Them's
don't
my
understand.
stories. Wrestling, it's
Never heard of it.
It's real. And no, but
It's not
seriously,
staged
Really
at
a
all.
thing.
so I just posted in the community. I was like, hey, Megathread, is anybody watching WrestleMania with me? And that's what some people may not know about me. Like I've talked about my love for the old wrestling games, which so good, those old wrestling
yes.
games. And we're talking like the 64 era, and then
Those are the best ones.
SmackDown stuff. But anyway, that aside, I was like, hey, Megathread, who's watching WrestleMania? And sure enough, there were like, 5 or 6 people that were commenting back and forth. And our thread is ridiculous. If you want to go back and look at that thing, it's almost 200 comments, like back and forth, like us talking about this event as it's going on over like, it was like a 6-hour period. And WrestleMania is stupid long. But that got us thinking. Somebody mentioned that maybe we should have like a sports nerd meeting space or section or something like that. So that's something that we're going to look into. Like, I don't know what that would look like. But that kind of stuff is it's fun because it is fake. All of it's made up, all that mess, but it's entertainment. So it's, nobody's like, oh, you went and watched a Marvel movie? That's not real. But for some reason, when it's wrestling, like people get really mad at you for liking it. So, but anyway, we're gonna explore that and kind of see what that could look like, and we'll get back to you on that one. But even better than that, Matt, you and I watched Turtles 2 this week.
Are we getting into this?
We're there, dude. It's happening right now. We watched Turtles 2,
It's
and
like
this
no
on
deposit,
accident.
no return.
This was an accident, right? Like, so you watched independently, and I watched independently.
Okay,
We
that was
did
my
not call each
question.
other.
Yeah, aligned in the stars.
At the
Yeah.
same time or just the same
No,
day?
I don't
think so. No,
Just
I
in
think
the
they're
same
about like a
week?
day apart.
Okay.
The same week. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we watched
Yeah.
it. We had watched Turtles 2 the week before, or Turtles 1, sorry, the week before. And it was kind of the next progression in it.
Not Matt and I. His family. did.
No, my family
Yeah.
and I did. And I initially we watched it because I wanted to show the kids, and I wanted to brush up on some lines.
That's right. Gotta do some work.
But going back to it, it did not hold up
No.
from the other 150 times I saw the movie.
Oh, so your joy was shattered by the realization of it?
I probably it was probably boredom in some ways, knowing the
thinking about Red
exact
Dead?
plot line.
Yeah. When you meet your childhood heroes, it's just never as good.
Yeah, I know. It was just not what I remembered, I guess. And honestly, it's been a few years since I've seen it. I can't think of the last time I saw it. 7 years ago. Well, okay.
You watched it a long time ago. Mine was probably 3 years ago. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah. What'd you think?
I was laughing the whole time, but it was like I was laughing at how bad it was.
Yeah.
I mean, from
no.
from the very first intro. So here's the deal: when you start watching it, after you have been friends with Matthew Warmbier for long enough, you can't not hear Matt in your head when this is going on.
Yeah. See.
Oh,
ouch.
and Kino, right? You okay over there?
Yeah. Just smacking my head on the desk. It's fine.
Kino.
Don't you say one ill word about Kino.
Is terrible. He's bad. He's such a bad
hang
actor.
up on this thing.
He is a great
Press
control
leave
alt.
call. Then
He
you'll
is-
hang up.
Yeah.
He's a great martial artist, and then they gave him lines and probably didn't coach him. They're just like, hey, just go out there and say these things.
I know. It's not my fight.
So like at the very beginning where he's delivering the pizzas and he's going around and how's the line go? Dream on, dweeb.
Yeah, okay, but when I do, I'll dream of something a little thinner.
That was like,
Oh god.
It's real bad.
So I had a twofer. I had you in my head, and and then I had his terrible acting on top of that. And so here's the thing that gets me through all of it, right? Is like everything is like way over the top. Everything is over the top.
Absolutely. Babies. They are babies.
Like that whole everything, like just, I mean, just the whole thing. And then the whole TGRI scenario, just in general, finding the large dandelion, and it is
Dandelion.
I mean, like nobody sees him up on that hill grabbing that dandelion.
Like, no, like everyone's turned their back from this guy right here, right now, and he's walking out with this giant dandelion, like,
and he's dressed. Dude's dressed in full 90s gear. Like,
oh yeah, he's not in the TGRI gear.
Everything's bright. Everything was brighter in the 90s.
Yeah.
Like we had just like, it felt like we just came into Technicolor, but
This is not why I sent you. No, master.
Oh my gosh.
So on top of all the TGRI and all of the TGRI like name placement, like even when Shredder holds out the tube, like TGRI is like
Oh yeah, you
right
had to
across
know
the front.
whose ooze it was.
Yeah, it was like the whole thing was a commercial for TGRI. But even better than that, or may I say worse than that, was this. Okay, so and Kate, you need to go watch this movie so you understand what I'm talking about. I think you would love it. Yeah. That was my Kate yawn. I think it's pretty good. There, even better. Each one of the turtles, like this movie is probably on average about 30% longer than it needs to be because each turtle has to pause and say their quippy one-liner.
They're 15 years old.
And you feel every
15.
moment of it.
They are 15. They have to. They
What
have
if
to.
I don't like turtles.
Bodacious.
Like amphibians.
I love turtles.
I like mammals.
No, you're fired.
Or poultry.
But you know what? It all made it worth it to see Vanilla Ice do.
That whole scene, I'm like, why is this here? Like that whole like dance club fight scene was
Because 90s, bro.
I know.
Because they even had the sleazy, slick-backed nightclub owner. And...
I know. I love this place. Would you look at those costumes? You're listening to the Turtles 2 podcast with Bubba Stallcup,
we could
Kate
freaking do
Katawaki,
that.
and Matt Warmbier, part of the Turtles 2 fan club.
Kate Katawaki, kind of.
Sort of. She's here.
Yeah, that's her sigh.
Well, I'm glad we watched it. Now we know.
You guys should go and watch it.
Yeah. Let us know
Listeners, you guys go and watch it. Tell us what you think. Does it hold up? Or even better, I want somebody to watch it that has no nostalgia value at all.
Like
and
me?
let us know.
Yeah,
No,
I think
you're just,
that's good.
I'll
Kate's
just
a
hate
cynic,
it
though.
because you guys like it.
Something that did hold up, since we're on 90s week here, I just got a PlayStation 3. I sold some stuff. It's a long story, but we'll just get to it. I got a PlayStation 3, and you're able to re-download any games you had previously on the PlayStation 3, which is awesome. And I had Sonic 2 for whatever reason. So I was like, I'm playing Sonic 2. I'm doing this right now. And I did. And that game holds up. I know
it's a great game.
It really is. The soundtrack, the levels, like the layout of each level is so good. It is so good. And I can
let's do this. Let's go ahead and transition into our main topic for today. Sorry for the sloppy transition, but this is what
it's fine.
Organic stuff feels like. So we are, like Matt said, it is 90s week here at Love Thy Nerd. And when this podcast drops on Friday, we're kind of at the tail end of 90s week, but we kicked off 90s week with a Hypnospace Outlaw article that you guys can go and watch, or you can't watch it. There's a trailer in there.
Well, you look at you put your eyes on it to read it.
I guess you do watch the letters. But you can go read it on lovethynerd.com. And April Lynn wrote that. It's a great article, fantastic. If you love Hypnospace, it's a little spoilery. but don't worry about it because you're not going to find everything anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But you're going to want to go and read that. And so we decided for this podcast, for Freeplay, we have kind of the 80s, 90s vibe with our logo and all that stuff that, hey, man, we're going to go ahead. We want to be a part of this thing too because we're kind of Love Thy Nerd all the way, 100%. And so we wanted to be a part of 90s Week as well. And we want to talk about some of the best games from the 90s. And Matt, you've already, like I said, jumped into it.
Sonic 2.
With Sonic 2.
Bruh.
So we want to talk about some of those. Do you guys know kind of the one that kind of kicked off the 90s as far as video games go?
How would I know that? I wasn't even...
Super Mario World?
Oh, I just thought that maybe you would have done a little bit of research. Produce.
Whatever.
Was I right?
You were close. It's actually Super Mario Bros. 3.
Was that a 90s game?
It was 90s, bro. It like came out it like kicked off the whole thing for the 90s.
Interesting. So was all the Pokemon yellow, red, blue.
Poker Man.
Gotta catch them all, the bros.
All 90s.
So what are some of your favorite games and memories of games from the 90s? This isn't a top 10 list or anything like that. We're just going to kind of reminisce about some of our favorite games from the 90s. And for Kate, it's going to be a little bit harder because she was born in 99.
It's not true.
But there was that one
Pod
year.
Racer. On 64.
No.
It's working.
It's working. Kate, let's hear it. Go ahead. You start.
One that I just have a lot of memories, some of them fond, some of them not, is Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon, because my grandma bought a PlayStation so that we would come visit her more. And
That's a smart Grammy right there.
And stay at her house because we didn't like to stay there because we felt like it was haunted.
It was.
So she put the PlayStation in the scariest room and refused to move it and said, if you want to play it...
She called it the graveyard room? It's crazy.
No, but like... It was just creepy because the way there's like a lot of superstition in Filipino culture. So she would put like... Okay, say you just ate dinner, right? We'd go in there to play Crash Bandicoot together, and there'd be a plate of food on the dresser that was still in there because that used to be our great grandma's room, but then she died. So my grandma would put a plate of food out because of the superstition, and she said, no, we have to put the food out. Nana sucks out the flavor. And we were like, no, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. And my grandma's like, yes, she does. So we said, can you move the PlayStation, please? She said, no, if you want to play it, you have to play it in Nana's room.
Nana's room.
Oh my.
She sucks out the fun too.
Yeah. So
she'll suck the tears right out of your face.
I'm going to ask just one question, and then we can move on. Did you ever eat the food left for Nana?
Yes, my brother did, and he said there was still flavor left.
Okay, that's what I was wondering right there. Okay.
Well, Grandma doesn't like peas.
We told my grandma that, and she said Nana just hadn't gotten to it yet.
Okay.
But we had a lot of memories
Oh my
playing.
goodness.
Playing
That's
Crash
the most terrifying
Bandicoot.
thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, well,
Did
how do
you
you
buy
think
the
we
games?
felt living in that? When we would, sometimes I couldn't make it through the weekend. I'd call my parents, and you have to come get me. I'd be crying.
Nana's sucking my fun out.
No, like it was just, I don't know, just
That's
a bad
another
vibe.
piece of merch, by the way, is like a plate of food. It just says for Nana.
That's just like grayed out because the flavor's sucked out.
Did you
need to write these
rebuy the remastered ones that just came out? Like
No, I don't have an
Spyro and
urge to
Crash?
like revisit it. But we
It's
played.
nostalgia though. It's heavy.
I don't have any nostalgia. We played Crash, we played Spyro, and in that same room we were watching Ghostbusters once, and there's a scene where the power goes out in Ghostbusters.
That seems disrespectful.
The
honestly.
power
Go on.
went out in my grandma's house and the TV turned off like at that same moment. So we were like, Nana's here, Nana's here. Like we were all screaming.
She's
Like,
mad
our
we're watching
food.
Ghostbusters.
yeah,
We ate
it
her
was
food.
it was so bad.
good.
So
She knew you were trying to get her. That you were trying to get educated on how to trap her.
trying to eat her food and stuff. So
Nana will
I don't
not
know
be trapped.
that's like when I think of 90s gaming, for me it was very much like playing Crash Bandicoot and being part scared because the room,
Every game's a
So-
horror game.
every game
played in
was a
Nana's
horror
room.
game in Nana's room.
I think for me, my mind goes to PlayStation. Well, it goes to 64 and it goes to PlayStation, but Jedi Power Battles. I played a lot of Jedi Power Battles. I don't know if any of you
I've never
ever
even
played
heard
that.
of that.
It
Nah,
was
it
like
sounds
it was
made up.
basically episode 1, sort of, but not. You had more added levels. So either that or Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Yes, that's another good one.
Yeah. I have it on the PlayStation, and I almost busted it out today, but I didn't have time.
My brother was so good at
maybe
that
tomorrow.
game, and I would try so hard.
Well, that's where the story of Horpins comes from, too.
That
That's
is
right.
true.
What's up? Yeah, that game was so great. I think that was a game, like, it was unlike any other game that had come out before it. Just the open level, but I don't know. There's just so much you could do. And the music was great. And
It was.
just like pushing yourself to do more and harder tricks. It was probably like real skateboarding, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
It was
From
exactly
from
like
what I
it.
remember of real skateboarding, which is roughly nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great
Wasn't
game.
there like a car in the ground in that one of those opening levels, maybe the first level?
Yeah, it was
that
a
you could
taxi,
grind
and it was
over?
in the
The
it was
taxi
in
was
the ground.
in the ground, wasn't
yeah,
it?
and then to the right of that there was a half pipe that would have
Oh,
that extra room up above.
Yes.
Well, that's where the tape was.
That's where the tape
That was
was.
where
Yeah.
the tape was. Yeah, that's where the tape was. Of
course that's what it was.
Too.
Yep.
Well, what about you, Bubba?
So when you mentioned Tony Hawk Pro Skater, to me, yes, that was a great game. Yes, it was in the 90s. It was in 1999.
Was it?
A lot
Okay.
of these really great games came out like in 98 or 99. And to me, that 98, 99 doesn't really capture the 90s.
Well,
for
why
me.
didn't you
Well,
preface this sooner?
No, I'm
Didn't
just
saying
saying.
a specific year.
I mean, I would have
No,
went
no,
with
no,
Link
no,
to the
I'm t- I'm-
Past. Link to the
Okay.
Past.
Yes, Link to the Past.
That was in the
That's
80s,
what I'm
wasn't
talking
it?
about.
No,
Get-
that was like
I'm just out.
93.
When my
we'll
brother
sit
was
in on
born.
you. I'll put that PlayStation. But no, like if we're gonna talk about greatest games of the 90s period, like for me, it is A Link to the Past. I thought until I played Breath of the Wild that A Link to the Past was the best Zelda game ever made.
It's the one that holds up the best for sure.
Yeah.
Like you can play that one now and still really enjoy it. Where if I go and play Ocarina
yeah.
of Time, it is rough because those teenage years of Nintendo, the 64 graphics,
Yeah.
they're rough to play.
Well, so here's the deal, right? So like you had A Link to the Past that came out early 90s, and then you had in like 98, you had Ocarina of Time. So we actually got two different generations of Zelda games within the same decade. So kind of let that sink in a little bit, just kind of let you know how fast games were moving at that time and how much even faster they're moving now. We get mad when we have to wait 3 years for a game. But I don't know. Like I think about games like Street Fighter, like Mortal Kombat. Like these are games that for me, I was more of a Super Nintendo guy than I was a Sega Genesis guy or a PlayStation guy or whatever, because that's what we had when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've shared my fond memories about, playing Test Your Might and rubbing my knuckles on the Super Nintendo controller, which you guys think is ridiculous. You guys think is ridiculous. And I was listening to the Nintendo Voice Chat IGN podcast, and there was a guy on there that made the same comment. And I was like, I'm going to tell these jokers that is a real thing to do.
Was it your brother?
Yeah, well, it was me. They had me on the podcast.
Okay.
So, yeah. But so like I have these memories of all of these different kinds of games, but like to me the pinnacle was Legend of Zelda. What was it? Link to the Past. I almost said Link Between Two Worlds, but Link to the Past.
That was a great game too if you haven't played it.
It was, but I mean, like, honestly, guys, there are so many, like, iconic, great, landmark games that came out in the 90s. That was, like, the best golden age time, whatever, for video games. Like, that's when everything took off, was in the 90s. So, like, you got Metal Gear Solid that came out in 98. Half-Life came out in 98. Chrono Trigger came out in 95. Like, as you start to get towards the end of the 90s, you get all of these like amazing games that are reasons we have the games that we have today.
That's true.
Yeah.
See, but I was in like first grade, second grade
In the
around,
2000s. Yeah.
around those times. and we weren't allowed to play games like ever.
Well, Nana.
That's why the Nana's room PlayStation was such a big special deal, is because we weren't allowed to have a PlayStation at home. So I missed out on a lot of stuff that if my parents had done it differently, I wouldn't have been so sheltered, and I would have had all these experiences with Zelda. I don't know, whatever games. But I don't have
I'm
nostalgia.
Give you my blessing to go play it.
I don't want to though. Like, that's in the past now. I played all this, whatever I was going to play back then. Now I'm going to play something else. So.
Super Mario World 2, which I saw at the store the other day.
How about Yoshi's Crafted World?
No. Also, like during the 90s, Bond. I feel like the 007 GoldenEye, that game basically kind of launched that first-person shooter. Like,
it did.
There probably was a game before it that people, you nerds would say was, oh no, this game did it. But I feel like that was the game that turned the tide. From there, you got all of your Call of Duties, your whatevers with your shooters and your guns and your boom booms.
Boom boom means something completely different for me than what
well,
you just...
I know, that's why I said it. But, you know, back when that came out, like, that was pretty groundbreaking, at least for me and my friends.
Well, for everybody and their friends, if you had a Nintendo 64, it brought the first-person shooter experience to you. You didn't have to play it on PC.
4-player.
It was crazy. I mean, you go back and try and play it now, and it's impossible. Like
it's
how
awful.
how anybody was able to even shoot in the right direction in that game blows my mind. But
that's why I was bad at it.
So, I mean, you're talking about games that came out before that. You got to understand, that game didn't come out until 97 on the 64. Doom came out in 93, okay?
Wow.
Quake was in 96. And where's the other one here? Wolfenstein 3D is the one I'm looking for. But all those, that one came out in 92. So, like, all these games by id Software, they were laying all of the groundwork for this first-person shooter genre. And then you had to have a PC though, right? So if you didn't have a computer that could play the game, then you just didn't get to play it until this game came to the 64, and it changed everything. I mean, there are still, to get a copy of this game, it's still fairly rare. Like, you can find it, but it's always like $50 or $60 or whatever, or more, at your, local game shop or thrift store or wherever. Like, you're not going to go and find it in some discount bin. Because GoldenEye,
I saw it for $20 today, but it wasn't like
$20.
Yeah,
probably didn't turn on. It probably is. It's probably
no.
just.
I mean, it didn't look super. It didn't look super great.
Yeah. Well, what else? What else are some of the other games that you played when you were growing up?
Who? Oh, me?
You. Yeah.
You guys on this podcast.
Me?
Oh, man.
I played a lot of Madden.
Okay.
In the 90s, a lot of Madden, and then later 90s was NCAA, because why not? And then you mentioned wrestling earlier. Played a lot of WCW versus NWO.
WCW.
That was also, yeah, and then WCW versus NWO or versus the World, whatever that one is. There's two that were really good. Yeah, that was later 90s as well.
Yeah, did you guys play NBA Jam?
Oh
no.
Yeah,
NBA Jam was the most fun that I'd had.
It's gotta be the shoes.
He's on fire from downtown. You could play in some of the later games. You could play like as the president and stuff like that. Like,
that's so funny. I used to have a huge collection of those like nano pets and giga pets.
Yeah,
that was like a huge. That was like a huge thing. Digimon. And my grandpa still to this day makes fun of me and like laughs at me because I guess I didn't know how to work it. What?
Well, when they die, they die.
No.
They poop themselves
No,
to death.
the thing is, and he's said this, he's like, and he still will say this line and crack himself up. And he goes, she disciplined it until it ran away. He always says that about me. Because all I would do is press over and over. You like discipline it when it does something bad to like train it. But I would just do that over and over. Then it would run away. And I'd say, where did it go? It ran away. It ran away. So
yeah, you're not its real mom. And
I saw someone in my Starbucks just last week with one of those. I wasn't sure which it was. It could have been a nanopet, gigapet, whatever. No. But it was one of those, and I just watched her. I was like, Are you really doing this right now?
It's probably a Tamagotchi. I've seen them for sale
It
at
could have
Urban
been
Outfitters.
Tamagotchi, yeah.
At Urban Outfitters, like having you can go buy right now.
Yeah, I've seen
I
that.
did.
in the
She had one.
world.
It was like an egg-shaped thing.
That's a Tamagotchi. They have the egg
Okay,
shape.
there it is.
I know about it. I'm an expert.
I'm Digimon or bust. I mean, just if I can't fight with it.
Digimon Digital Monsters.
Digimon, digital monsters.
Oh, man.
And
so
that
many good
game,
games.
Drew told me the name of it. I couldn't think of it.
Just give me the first
Perfection.
10 letters. There it is.
Perfection.
Okay,
where
so yeah, you're
you
talking
have the
about
little
some tabletop
shapes.
stuff now.
You have the little shapes. That was at my dad's office. That was
Yeah.
like one of the other options
the worst.
to play. Was that game where you take all the shapes out and then you have to put all the shapes back in as it's like moving around, and then it jump scares you.
Anna has never
Always.
played that. I need to go find a copy of that game and ruin her life forever.
I'll have to see if my dad still has his copy at his office.
He probably does.
Probably.
I mean, that game is like the birthplace of anxiety.
It
It's
is.
terrible.
Just say it is.
It
Just say
is.
it is.
I've had so many bad, just terrible jump scares. Maybe that's where a lot of my issues started. It's from that.
Ah,
Yeah, probably. Or like Don't Wake Daddy. You guys remember that game? That was a game from the 90s.
oh, that was a good one.
Don't Wake
That's like real
Daddy.
life.
Operation.
Hungry Hippos.
These are
Remember
like
that?
80s
Yep,
games,
yep,
aren't
yep.
they?
No, 90s, bro.
Hungry Hippos is a good one, though. That's fun.
Yeah.
It all blends together. for me.
Perfection's not fun. It's scary.
You guys remember everybody's favorite 90s game from the 70s, Crossfire?
Yeah,
No.
that's the one, 1971.
I
You get caught up in the...
Crossfire. I seriously,
1971.
honestly, until you told me that, Matt, earlier, I would have gone to my grave believing that was a 90s game.
If you told me it was 80s, I would have been like, sure, I probably would believe you. It all blends together there. 71?
I don't think
Which
so.
one of you was alive then,
Neither.
Both of us?
Matt?
Nana?
If
You were born in 1971?
No.
if you take both of our ages, add them together, and then subtract them from each other, that's how
I
old we
don't get
were.
that.
I'm sorry.
0.
It's math. But hey, we want to know, what are some of the games, if you grew up in this era, if you were a 90s kid, did you play Pogs? Were you playing Perfection? Were you, what was that, Mousetrap? Did you
Jar
play-
Jar 3D adventure game.
Mousetrap.
I still to this day do not fully know how to play Mousetrap, because it was one of those games that was like, WTF the heck these rules are. I'm gonna now boarding my way through this thing and just play it
speak for yourself.
however I want to. But I mean, games were so much different when we were a kid. So I want to know, what games did you play? Listeners, I'm talking to you guys now. What games did you play if you grew up during this time? Did you guys play like D&D with your family or like whatever? Let us know in the comment section below on this post in our Facebook group, or right there on the episode page, or in a review or whatever. Just hit us up. We can do it on Twitter. Anywhere that you do it, we want to know. In honor of 90s Week here at Love Thy Nerd, what did you play when you were growing up? Well, guys, that's going to do it for episode 48 of the Freeplay Podcast. Be sure to check us out on iTunes,
Yeah. MySpace, Indiegogo.
Man, check out our GeoCities page,
Yep.
and we should have had all that
We're on
stuff ready.
Napster, I think. You can bootleg us on Napster if you want.
Yeah, you can get this on Napster. There were Morpheus was one of
LimeWire.
them. LimeWire, yeah, you can get us on all those
that
things.
pirate one?
Yeah, you can go to
Pirates Bay?
Pirates Bay?
/geocities.com/LTN/sparkly background -now.
Well,
And-
/AOL Instant Messenger.
Yeah, you can hit us up on AOL, or if you got ICQ, you know where the room is. Man, the internet. Okay. But hey, seriously, be sure to check us out on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube, and really anywhere else that podcasts are found. And if you can't find us where you listen to podcasts, all
Too
you got
bad.
to do is get bent, right?
Yeah, that's right.
No, you can let us know, and we will do our best to get on that platform. And if you're not already a part of the Love Thy Nerd Facebook group, just freaking do it right now. Pause this podcast and go do, or I guess you could do it while you're listening. That's fine too. But you're going to want to go ahead and
Either.
search for Love Thy Nerd community on Facebook and join the group. We'll let you in. All you got to do is answer one question. What's up, nerd? That's it. That's all I want to know. And then when we find out that you're not a robot, we're going to let you in. You're going to have access to all of the great things and people that we talk about, and memes, geez, just as far as the eye can see. And so you're going to love it. Gifts, oh man, just never lick a gift horse in the mouth. That's what I say.
I always say that.
You can also find Love Thy Nerd on Facebook, like I said, Instagram and Twitter, at Love Thy Nerd on each of the platforms. And be sure to check out the Freeplay Podcast. That's us, what, on Twitter, at Freeplay Podcast. Well, guys, I'm Bubba Stallcup.
I'm Matt Warmbier.
And in my normal voice, I am Kate Katawaki.
That's my normal voice. Thank you. I had to change it during the podcast.
Oh,
For
okay.
our cut man, Jonathan
didn't know.
Clausen, we'll catch you next week. And remember, Jesus loves you, nerds. Cowabunga. Happy 90s week.
You have been listening to the Freeplay Podcast with Bubba Stallcup, Matt Warmbier, and Kate Katawaki, part of the Love Thy Nerd Podcast Network. Be sure to rate and review the show and share on all the social media.
I always liked Cowabunga.